Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to another segment of Mixing It Up. My name is Barry Ross. I am proud and honored to be able to come to your home live. We come to you on TV 33 in most areas of Detroit, Comcast 20. We also have an online site at TV33WHPR.com. This station has a live feed on Facebook. If you went to the new TV 33 WHPR on Facebook and join, you can have a live Facebook feed on most shows that are on this station, on any show that's on this station. All my shows are archived. This show tonight, by Saturday, will be downloaded and archived in at Mixing It Up with Barry Ross on demand. So you would go in and you would join, and then you would hit on demand, and all the videos of my previous shows are going to come up. And we want you to know that this is not my show, this is our show. We're a community show. This is all about everybody that lives in this city and everybody that's tuning in. We want your comments, we want your opinions, we want to better this show. We want to involve you. Please call us, 313-868-0342, 868-0351, 868-4336. All these other numbers are 313. Tonight, I am proud to present to us our great and devoted state rep, Mr. Thomas Stallworth. And to say the least, we don't have too many stand-up people in our government that fight for you. Tonight, you're going to hear about the fight in this man. If you haven't seen him on all the news stations talking about this, how we got jacked on the consent agreement and his new proposal, his new bill. I'm going to find out if this bill was, it came to fruition, about what we can do going forward on our consent agreements, and we're going to talk about this. So we're proud to have State Rep Mr. Thomas Stallworth.
All right.
And also tonight, we have Mr. Daniel Brookins. He has a contract carpentry school where they teach you how to build a. Are you ready for this? And I've been there. And we need to support this school. We can tear down these houses in this city and rebuild them. And the young men that don't have a job, we need to get them funding. We need to help this school. We need to get things going on. We need to create jobs because they're not coming to you. It's our responsibility, the people that live in this city, to take control of this city in a nonviolent manner. So we want to support Mr. Daniel Brookins. He'll be on a little later, and talking about his school in the Eastern Market, and I was there, and I was very impressed. And also tonight, I have T. Stiles, and she is a phenomenal singer, actress, I believe, writer, producer. She wears many hats, and I heard a couple of her hits the other day, and I was blown away, and I said, this lady's coming on my show. And then I said, of course, I got to try to get her. And I was fortunate enough that she came here tonight and did us a favor, and you're going to be pleasantly surprised to hear Miss T. Stiles. And then we also have the Better Detroit Youth Movement, and next weekend they're having a big event, and they're here to tell us about it. And we have some representatives from the Better Detroit Youth Movement that are here with us. And check this out. In the fall, this organization is giving away, you're hearing me right what I'm about to say, $20 to $40 million in scholarships. And we're going to hear more about that at another date, but this Better Detroit Youth Movement, they got it going on. And they support us, we support them. They come out with us when we board up houses. We support everything that they do, and wherever we can get out with them, we highly support them. Listen, we have 100,000, sad to say, abandoned homes in the city. Our government is not in a position, economically, politically, to help us. We need to get involved in our city and start boarding up these homes. So we have formed a collaboration with other groups. We're called the Greater Detroit Restoration Project, and we board up these homes. We paid for the first 7 ourselves, and we've done 9 more, and we're doing one Friday where a young man was shot about 3 weeks ago, and we just found out today that he died a day later. Indiscriminately, someone came in with a gun into this house, this abandoned house on the east side, at 2226 Fairview. Kids were partying in this abandoned house. A young man came in the house, waving his gun around, shot somebody, and he died. We've had enough. You better have had enough. We need your support. We're asking you to come out this Friday at 11 a.m. at 2226 Fairview. This is right near Kercheval in the Connors-Kercheval area on the east side of Detroit, to help us. And we also need funding. Every single solitary cent that we raise is going back into our community for equipment, for boards, for everything that we can muster up to make a difference. Bodies are turning up in these houses. Sexual predators are lurking in these houses. How much more can we take, Detroit, Highland Park? Aren't you sick and tired of this? My God. So we're going out Friday, and we're going to make a difference, and we're asking you to send us donations. You can call Minister Shabazz, 313-646-3375. Excuse me. You can call me at 248-417-9696. We're setting up a PayPal site online where you can use your charge card to funnel in money into the account, and that'll be set up in the next week or so. I just want to tell you, I want to bring on our first guest. I was just told we have a call. I want to take a quick call, and then we're going to get to our state rep, Thomas Stallworth. Hello. Hi, you're on the air. How are you?
Hi, how are you?
Good, thank you. You have a question for our guest, or you want to make a comment? Hello? Turn your TV down. It's interfering with the call.
I'll tell you what, let me call you back. I don't know what better.
Okay. I want to introduce to you right now State Rep Thomas Stallworth. Thank you very much for coming.
Thank you, Barry, for having me.
And I hope that everybody knows how articulate, how well informed you are, and how dedicated you are. I just want to read something that I found that you planned. And I'm going to find out if you did this. And I think that you put it in. Listen to this. State representative from Detroit wants to change how state officials and municipalities engage in emergency financial consent agreements. And this is amid legal and political turmoil over the cities and the plans. State Rep Stallworth was to introduce a measure. Did you introduce this last week?
I did.
Okay, all right, we're going to talk about it. And I don't mean to embarrass you, but I want everyone to know. This measure was to change the consent agreement process, which has tied up our city council for months by requiring state-appointed financial review teams to develop restructuring plans to get people on board earlier, not at the last minute, so we have the support to contend and arm ourselves.
That's right.
And you took this to the floor.
Yes, the bill was introduced last week, Barry, and quite frankly, we all know that that we spent millions of dollars. We've gone through all kinds of review processes, multiple review teams, deficit elimination plans. But I would challenge anybody in our community to tell me exactly what it is the problem is precisely, what steps are required to fix it, how long it's going to take, and what we'll look like at the end. And so this has all, to me, been a smokescreen. As much as the Republicans talk about running government-like business, nothing could be farther from the truth. Let's just think about it for a second. Any company that's going through a turnaround plan will bring a team in who reviews their books and proposes key steps within time frames, outcomes, and creates a vision of when the company will be solid again.
Feasibility studies, what have you.
And this is what any shareholder would expect.
Absolutely.
And so why should it be different for taxpayers? Why should it be different for our community? We're kind of, with all of the shenanigans and
Immaturity.
and immaturity, and quite frankly, anyone who goes through that consent agreement will see 30-some-odd pages that all describes who's in charge. There's very little in there about what the problem is, what we need to do to fix it. The very last page, is Appendix D, I think, has a list of initiatives that are called proposed initiatives. It's kind of like a brainstorming session. And so what that leaves us with as citizens is really, after all is said and done, after all of the pain and anguish we've gone through, we don't have a clear sense of what it's going to take for us to get out of the hole we're in, who's responsible for doing what, and when we'll reach the end of the tunnel. And so the bill that I introduced outlines a process that puts the onus on the state, since the state sends in a review team. And I don't understand why any review team could review books and not come out with recommendations about what needs to be done. If you've looked at the numbers, surely you understand why the numbers went wrong, and you should have at least 2 or 3 ideas about what we need to do to fix it. Unfortunately, we get nothing back.
Any corporation that needs to revise the way that they do business and wants to take a look at how they've been operating and wonders why their business is in a particular predicament really needs to have a focused plan. Now, how did we get to the position where we are so disorganized? How could we operate like this? And for how long have we? This is preposterous.
Well, quite frankly, we've taken our eye off the ball, and there has been, I would think, a void in leadership. And the state has done a very nice job of diffusing us and distracting us. This isn't truly a partnership. A consent agreement is a contract. It should be an agreement between parties, and it should be supported between parties. But let's face it, only half of the council voted for the consent agreement, which clearly means they weren't supportive. And the community, in large part, is not in support because we've not had a role, we've not had a say, and there's been nothing that has been outlined to us as to what the deliverables of this consent agreement will be. Let me just tell you real quickly. Right after the consent agreement was signed, the state treasurer, Andy Dillon, was quoted as saying, "This might take 20 years." Well, he said it very flippantly, but that really impacts our lives when he says that it may take 20 years to come out from under a state control process. The mayor negotiated contracts with the unions in good faith. Before he was able to go,
They
gave, and before he could go to city council, the governor announces it's not enough. But he says it's not enough without saying what is. And quite frankly, if he knew what was enough, he should have said it prior to negotiations starting, such that the mayor and labor could get together and figure out how to reach an end that made sense. And so all of this, to me, is resulting in lost time. Our children are dying. Our services are crumbling. Our schools are failing. And we're arguing over who's got the biggest stick. And lastly, and probably the most egregious thing of them all, is Attorney Crittenden, who, in support of the charter, challenges the validity of the consent agreement based on the state owing us money. Well, hell, this isn't a new conversation. We've been talking about the state owing us money forever.
How far back does that go, the agreement we had with the tax in the city that they were supposed to rebate us or return it back?
And I don't know
is that
the
Coleman Young? Is that going back to Coleman Young days? or
No, that actually happened under Archer administration.
Okay, all right.
But it did. But again, the thing is that the press and the state, and to some degree the mayor's office, painted Miss Crittenden as some, camera hound, media hound, and again, changed the argument to whether or not she had the authority to sue.
Mm-hmm.
The issue was never whether she had the authority to sue. The issue is, does the state owe us money? And it would seem to me, again, in any business relationship, if I come to you and I say, you owe me money, here's my proof, then you're obligated to say, yes, either I do, and here I will pay you, or I don't, and here's my documentation.
Now, needless to say, if this suit wasn't dropped, it was about 2 or 3 days before we would have gone totally broke, apparently, right? Let me just bring up a point. It's much, much more and much greater than what our governor is doing, is crazy as it is, but it's across the country. They're setting up these districts all across this country for the Republicans to have carte blanche and take over in the voting. And now, you and I discussed a minute ago, now we need to show ID. And how many men and women are not going to want to be known when they go somewhere and have to produce ID? There's 2 other measures they have to produce. It was a 3-way thing. It was ID. What were the other 2?
It was picture ID,
Picture ID.
birth certificate, or state ID. It had to be some official form of state or U.S.
And who wants to be bothered
No.
going to Herman Kiefer? Who wants to be bothered going to Secretary of State? And who wants to be known and identified, period, when most people don't want to answer the telephone when someone calls them about a bill, about a warrant, or whatever. Now, obviously, everyone doesn't have these kind of problems, but enough people that are afraid to be known, it's going to make a difference.
Well, more people have the problem than we believe. You would be surprised how many people don't have a birth certificate and how difficult it is to obtain one. And if I live here and maybe I was born in some small town down south, the hospital has been
Records
demolished,
may be burned, or whatever.
records burned.
Right.
All, there are hundreds of thousands not have a birth certificate and cannot obtain one, and so it can be a huge issue. But again, we need to be clear that this is about power, and it's about money.
Control.
And so, controlling a $1 billion operation like the city of Detroit, privatizing.
Tell them how they might have some privatizing plans. What might they want to take over?
Well, I mean, there's any number of things,
profit.
and quite frankly, what happens, Barry, and we need to be really paying attention to this, is because they milk that cow constantly. You see, not too long ago, Plant Moran got a $1.6 million contract for a review, a financial review. Mind you, this is within months of having Ernst Young receive over $1 million to do a review. And
$1 million to do a review.
Absolutely, absolutely.
And now this was a review for what? What were they reviewing?
Well, they were reviewing.
Was that part of this? This consent?
Absolutely.
Our finances in the city?
It was all designed. It was all aimed at trying to get a picture of what the financial situation of the city is. But the issue is, after they got both reports, both firms said, basically, these are the best numbers we can come up with. We can't stand on them. We can only give them to you based on what the city has told us. And so they basically, signed away any liability or responsibility for the numbers that they put out.
How can these figures be so nebulous? How can the figures either be here or there? How can we not know exactly where money is, where money disappeared?
Well, quite frankly, and the answer to that question really takes us to what's broke in the city. our infrastructure is broken, and it requires an investment, which is why we can't cut our way to success. We have the money that the state owes us is needed, and it's needed to repair programs and infrastructure that we depend on, like our payroll accounting system. The payroll accounting system we have in the city is antiquated. We're unable to forecast what would happen if we make certain changes, and so it all becomes guesswork. But rather than focus, and everybody knows this is a problem, but rather than focus on an investment to fix that problem, we're focused on laying off employees. Now, let me tell you what happens when you lay off an employee and you don't know and you haven't changed the process of how you do business. If you haven't implemented some new software program or a different way of doing business, when you lay off employees, all that happens is the paper stacks up, because everybody's job is designed to have them do something, to complete work.
There's a void.
And there's a void. And so when we ask ourselves, why is it that I call and I can't get anybody? Why is it that when I complain, nobody comes out?
Been cut.
It's because employees have been cut and they're not there to do the work that originally was expected of them. And so getting just back to my bill, I think there's some reasonable, common sense things that not just for Detroit, but any municipality that goes through this process should expect.
Now, this bill is exactly where right now?
The bill was introduced. It has been assigned to the Intergovernment Committee. It was not taken up yet, and we broke from session just last week. So, well, we have one day in session in July, one in August, and so it will probably sit until September, quite frankly.
And we need to get people out to vote as well and get people interested in voting.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
To say the least.
Yes, we do. And I can't express enough how urgent we need to feel and move around this next election cycle. It is critical that we turn people out to vote in the primary, and it is absolutely imperative that we prepare and build momentum, organize and mobilize to reelect our president in November.
People need to recognize the fact that we put this turkey in. This governor, we did this. The people that didn't vote, that had the potential of making a difference. And how important also is it that we should be apprised of the language in a bill. You know, we shouldn't just guess in a bill. That sometimes, even if you're a Democrat, sometimes voting on a bill, if you don't understand it, could be detrimental. Am I correct?
That is correct.
Okay, we need to teach people, we need to help people understand everything on the ballots.
That's right.
And you know, listen, I'm driving down the street. I got a Pepsi bottle. We know we don't throw things out the window. But 3 cars in front of me, everybody threw their stuff out the window. So what do? So I say, what difference does it make if I do the same thing, they're doing it? People that don't vote say, well, how much power does my vote carry? What can we do to impress upon people that your vote is everything? It starts with you.
Yeah, we've really got to do a much better job of educating ourselves. And, you know, from a sense of history. You know, I had the opportunity to work for Coleman Young for about 5 years. And when I worked for Mayor Young, one of the things that he understood was that when he turned out the vote, that it really didn't matter whether it was a Republican governor or a Democratic governor. What they both feared was the number of votes we have in Detroit. And nobody wanted to be on the wrong side of that number of votes who was involved in a statewide election. And so again, and the media has done a lot to distort the picture. We still have 700,000 citizens here in the city of Detroit.
Or more. We have more.
Or more.
We know we have more.
The next largest city in the state of Michigan is Grand Rapids, and it only has 200,000. And so
under emergency manager.
And so we are more than 3 times the next largest city in terms of size.
And 85% African American.
So any state, that's right. So any statewide election, governor, Supreme Court, Attorney General, Secretary of State, we have the ability to drive and influence whoever sits in those chairs.
In our city.
All we got to do is get together and come out to vote.
Now, what can we tell people that are reluctant because a credit company's after them? They might have some parking, moving violations after them. They got a warrant. What can we tell them? Can we maybe, what would be nice, would be a serious thing, if we could give the voters an amnesty against any retribution for anything they have hanging over their heads, whether it be credit problems, but that's not going to happen.
No.
That's not going to happen. I don't know what we can give people.
Well, I think the issue here is one of, again, and registering to vote starts with your city clerk. And we have to begin to trust each other. I certainly feel very positive about Ms. Winfrey, who is our city clerk. I trust that the
And the county
information
clerk.
and the county clerk. Yes, Kathy Garrett, both. So I trust.
She's revolutionized Kathy Garrett in the voting in the
and
office.
I trust those people. I
Right.
trust them to handle our confidential information confidentially, and not to share it with folks who may have an interest in harming us.
I don't mean to be rude, but remember, the state of Michigan has never had a fraudulent vote. We've never used anybody that's deceased as a name to register in our state. These allegations are being alleged that the potential of this to happen, it's never happened in our city or the state of Michigan.
That's correct.
We're straight up legit voters here. No fixed voting. This isn't like Florida.
No, this has all been obviously a scheme. A scheme. It's a national Republican scheme. And when I say this, I'm speaking of a national effort to disincent and repress minority and urban voters from going to the polls, with the specific intent of reducing the number of votes that will be available for President Obama.
That's it. And I can safely say it's a conspiracy. It's a Republican conspiracy against the minority, against the Democrat. They don't want to see Obama getting back in. This black man cannot get back in at any cost. This man came in, extended every single solitary olive branch he could to the other side, and they'd rather die than pass a bill, even if it's for the good of their people.
Oh, absolutely. And the facts are all on the president's side. He's done an excellent job. And if we look at history, in the last 30 years, over the last 30 years, the average wage of workers has not increased one dime. However, corporate profits have increased
Bonuses.
over 700%. And so this is all a scheme and as we talk about, and I'm going to bring this full circle, because this is what consent agreements and emergency managers and all of that stuff is all about. It's all about taking control of the public sector, driving up productivity. First thing we do is cut jobs, make people work longer hours, do more with less, right?
Services.
We repress wages and benefits, and then we privatize so that whatever is left as a result of repressing wages and increasing productivity goes into the private sector. It does not come back in the way of services to our community.
We don't have services.
No, we don't. Again, that's part of what's wrong with this consent agreement process, and part of what my bill focuses on is that before you finish or sign any consent agreement, we should all have an understanding of what the minimum acceptable level of services is that citizens can expect. And so it should not be guesswork when you show up at the bus stop. You should pretty much know if the bus is going to run on time and on schedule.
You should be able to call a police officer if someone was shot, and they should come out in 5 minutes.
Exactly.
Not 2 hours later.
Exactly.
What can we do, the community at large? What can we do? What would you recommend we start doing right away? What kind of concerted effort can we do at this station to get people to vote, to support you? How can we help you? How can we help the good people in Lansing? And I want to say one more thing. We have a Facebook page, the official Detroit Empowerment Movement, where it's strictly for government. It's strictly for bills. It's for meeting in the legislature. It's for community meetings, all under one place. We're all fragmented all over the place.
Yes, we are.
There's a meeting here, there's a meeting here, and no one knows, all under one place. If you have any bills, and I'm going to give you this again before you leave, post them here if we can get support.
Sure.
But getting back to my original question, what can you suggest to the people that are watching? What can we do to help?
Well, what I would suggest, and again, this is very simple, and I even as a legislator, approach things the same way I would in my house. And so while this debate and all of this jumping around, you know, we're appointing these different people to do different jobs in the city of Detroit, this is our city. And so we have a right to demand the information relative to what the gravity is of our situation. So, you know, I'm tired of hearing about legacy debt. I'm tired of hearing about, you know, all of the slogans with no fixes. And so if my bank account, if my checking account is running a deficit, I know exactly how much I need to fix it. And the citizens of Detroit need to know and demand to know exactly what's required to fix the problem. An emergency, by definition, is not forever. It's short term.
We are in an emergency.
We are in an emergency.
So physically, what are you saying? People need to show up more at city council. People need to show up in Lansing. We need strength in numbers. But concretely, what are we asking the people to do? Demand how?
Absolutely. We show up at the meetings. Keep your eye on the ball. Don't, you know, ask for the information relative to what's required to solve the problem. And you know whether the solutions actually match the problem. We've been lost in a lot of debate and argument that really is circular. It goes nowhere. And all the while,
Waste of time.
folks have their hands in our pockets. And so
A diversion, like
it is a diversion. And
Right.
so the two things I'm going to suggest are this. One, engage your city council people, engage your mayor, engage your elected officials, but demand answers. Look for solutions. You know, we do march, we march, we demonstrate, we agitate, we need all of that. But we also need to be focused on solving the problem. This is our city. And so we've got to be committed to helping solve that problem.
All right, so the plan you're suggesting, other than strength in numbers and show up at city council, what are we asking? What can we do to help?
I'm demanding a specific plan. Show me a plan. Show me a plan.
who?
Show me a plan. Well, right now in Detroit, we've got this review team.
The new review
new
team.
review team. And I would say within 30 days, we should have a clear plan of action that the magnitude of the problem, the steps that are going to be taken, by whom, by when, and what the outcomes are going to be, and such that we all have a sense of knowing when the emergency will be resolved.
Now you're a man of action. I'm a man of different kind of action. I say we get 5,000 people in cars to drive up to Lansing and get out of our cars and leave them on the expressway and shut down transportation. Whatever we do, it doesn't seem to be enough. You know, we marched on the governor's house.
Yes.
You know, we got up to the gate. You know, 1,500 people. You know, it was a nice thing to do. It was a nice gesture.
My Lord.
But, you know, so what? I mean, we need to go back every day. We need to block. This is how I think. I've been wanting to march on the police stations. I've been wanting to march on Cobo Hall. I'm asking people, this is how I think. I don't know what else is going to work. Now, you're a man of experience. I'm relatively new into this field. But I say we go out and we show them we're not playing.
Well, you know what, Barry? I'm actually, and I respect that, because actually it takes both.
Right.
It takes both. It takes political action. It takes agitation. It takes activism, but it also takes negotiation and planning. And so, you know, we have to learn how to coexist on both paths and work together, because we're all working toward the same end.
Yes.
And so the suggestions you have to me are right on target.
I want you to give your contact information. We have a call. Sure. Okay, let's take it. Hi, you're on the air. Good evening. Are they there? State Rep Thomas Stallworth is on the show. Do you have a question for him? Okay. Why don't you give your contact information?
Sure.
We want to support you. People can call you. They can email you.
Sure, I can be reached. The toll-free number is 888-347-8008. Again, the number is 888-347-8008, and you may call that number at any time. If it usually is answered. If it is not, leave a message, and trust me, we will get back to you within 15, 20 minutes tops. And I don't care whether the problem is big or small, we're there to serve.
That's great. You have a website for this?
We do have a
You
website.
want to run that on them?
Sure, I can be reached at stallworth.housedims.com.
You can see he doesn't email himself much.
I do not.
Listen, in order for you, anybody, I'm under the impression you want to be a state rep, you're devoted to your community, you got a background in looking out for areas. I mean, this man didn't just get here by accident. How long have you been in the House?
Well, this is my first term in the House, and Barry, I think I bring some rare experience. I've spent 25 years in the private sector, and I've spent close to 20 years in the public sector, and so it's the combination of those things I think is a rare blend, and has led me to understand and think about how to solve problems maybe a little differently than others. The proposals that I've suggested through the bill are proposals that I know are best practices in industry.
No question.
And a standard that we
Standard
as
practice.
citizens are entitled to.
Sure.
And so it's taken many years. I've got 4 children. 3 of them are grown, and so
Everybody's okay in the House?
everybody is great. God has been good to me.
That's great. All right, I just want to ask you, how many state reps are there? How many in the House? What is
There
it?
are 110. Right now there are 63 Republicans and 47 Dems.
You
And
hear
so-
that?
So
They outweigh us by 20? 63-43?
63-47.
Okay.
And so they basically they don't need our vote. They don't want our vote. They ram through what they want. And so part of the action plan we need really is to regain control of the House.
Okay. I want to have you back.
I would love to come back.
If I may, and we got a couple calls. We're going to take them then. Okay, hello. How are you?
You hear me?
Good evening.
Good evening, how are you?
All right, you have a question for Mr.
Yes,
Stallworth?
State Rep, I'd like to know regarding the end of the state owes Detroit, what would you do to get that money to the citizens? You have any suggestions?
Yeah, I mean, the problem with the $200 million, and again, this is one of the things that I think we should have resolved as part of the consent agreement. We should never have signed it, in my humble opinion, until that was resolved. We are in a quandary, sir, and I'm sorry to report that, because we do not have a written agreement relative to that $200 million, and so the revenue sharing that we lost was an agreement that was cut between the mayor and the governor at the time. It was not put in writing, and so.
Are you kidding me?
No, I'm not.
In other words.
I'm not. It was a verbal agreement. The unfortunate part of it that it was a 2-pronged agreement. Part 1 was Detroit would have to reduce its income tax. That part was put into law. Part 2 was the state would guarantee a stable revenue sharing amount for the city of Detroit. That part was not put into law. And so we got the stick, we didn't get the carrot.
Let me just say one thing in closing. As a rule, when there's litigation and you win a suit, if your money's been held up for years, you're entitled to interest on your money.
That is correct.
So that 200 and some million, I don't know if that's with accrued interest. I don't know if that's just flat money. But if it's not accrued, it should be accrued, and I wonder what they're doing with that money, and is the state earning interest on the money they owe us and using it for something else? And we should check into that. We're going to, closing comments.
Well, Barry, I think the last point that the caller made was one that is critical, because this is an issue of integrity. And I don't know in what world it is acceptable to owe people money and not pay them.
Yes.
If, in fact, the shoe were on the other foot and the city owed the state of Michigan, we can be sure that the state would come at us with everything in their wheelhouse, everything within their power to collect on the amount that was owed. And so it is disingenuous, it is downright dishonest, and it is bullying, quite frankly.
Yes.
That the governor would have the nerve to refuse to acknowledge and arrange to make payment on amounts due that even the state treasurer acknowledges are owed.
That's sad. All right, we're going to have to say goodbye to you. Unfortunately, I could have a whole show with you, and you're a plethora of information. I can't tell you how much I appreciate this. I'm sorry that it's so hot in here.
That's okay, Barry.
But this is going to change. I appreciate you coming. I know you're a busy man, and I highly respect and admire what you're doing. And thank you very much. And sit tight for a minute. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be right back with the Better Detroit Youth Movement. Be right back, everybody.
Hi, Mom.
Thank you very much.
Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous come and talk to our class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit. We are the faces of Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest,
Not destroy.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
Did you know that there are over 100,000 abandoned homes within the city of Detroit? If you are tired of abandoned dangerous houses in your neighborhood, please support the Greater Detroit Restoration Project.
Please make all checks and money orders payable to the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. The mailing address, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221.
All donations will help fund the expense of abandoned homes within the city of Detroit and Highland Park. For more information, contact Barry Ross at 248-417-9696 or Minister Malik Shabazz at 313-646-3375.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly wasted. Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
You are going to want to check me out. First Wednesday of every month. Join me, Barry Ross, remixing it up. It's webtv.com. I'm going to be reporting to you the facts and the truth, the way our society is run in Metro Detroit. 8 p.m., bringing you featured guests in relation to community, education, violence, what's happening on the streets in our town. It's Web TV, Barry Ross, remixing it up. Wednesdays at 8 p.m., the first Wednesday of every month. Remember, remixing it up with Barry Ross on itswebtv.com.
There are all kinds of people. Their variety is almost endless, and that's a good thing. Diversity is our strength, and so are our similarities. But there's one thing that far too many people share: addiction. If you are sick and tired of being sick and tired, call Narcotics Anonymous. Addiction doesn't discriminate. We can help you.
You're watching Power Talk on your community TV station, UHF TV 33, Detroit, Highland Park. The following program does not reflect the views and opinions of Channel 33, its management, or sponsors.
Comcast 20. This is Mixing It Up, and as usual, we support the Better Detroit Youth Movement, and we have 3 young people with us tonight that are participating and involved in the Better Detroit Youth Movement's job fair next weekend. And we want to introduce everybody. I want you to tell everybody who you are, and we're going to talk about what's going on. And your name is?
Hey, how you guys doing? My name is Reginald Anthony. I've been with the Better Detroit Youth Movement for several years now. I have over here to my right, Ms.
Hi, Reginald. How are you?
I'm pretty good
Thanks
tonight.
for coming. Thanks for coming. And this young lady is?
Hello, my name is Lauren Cowan. I am a representative of the Better Detroit Youth Movement. I'm just mostly a volunteer.
Okay. And you are, sir?
Hello, my name is Marty Shelton. I'm also a representative of the Better Detroit Youth Movement, and I'm a mentor.
And you might recognize this young man. He used to do the last half of my show a couple months ago. So the Better Detroit Youth Movement is strong in this city, and you guys are doing a lot of good things for the youth. Why don't you tell us what's going on next weekend and what's going to happen, what we can expect?
Well, okay, next weekend we're hosting the Teen Job Summit. We're hosting it on 2938 Russell Street, if I'm correct.
At Bert's Place, am I
at
correct?
Bert's Place, yes. It's
2927 Bert's Place. He's got like 3 addresses. So I don't know which one you're using. It's almost a whole block long. Have you ever been there?
Yes, we
Okay.
shop there often.
All right, so we want to say it's at Bert's Place next Friday. What's the date on Friday?
The date on Friday, it is Friday, June 29th, if I'm
that's
correct.
June 29th, and it starts at what time?
It starts from noon to 4.
Okay, and what can people expect when they come there?
Well, they can expect 4 things from this youth job. They can expect 4 things from this summit. Where we're going to try and not only just get our youth employed, we want to focus on the safety of our youth. We want to focus on the youth empowerment of our youth, and we want to focus on the community involvement of our youth. Not only our youth, but our adults ourselves. We want to bring the adults and the youth together so they can have a harmony. So we can have a harmony of opinion. I'm sorry, I'm getting tangled up in my words.
This is real TV, so it's okay. I make mistakes too. Now the youth organization is pretty much putting this on. This is getting up and facilitating.
No, it's not.
And it's going to be the ages in Better Detroit Youth Movement start at what? 15, 16?
Sometimes even younger than that, like 10, 11. But yes, that's
right.
Around that area, 15, 16 to. I've watched a lot of people just even stay in the organization till their 30s, 40s.
Okay. And is your name Laura?
Lauren.
Lauren, that's a beautiful name.
Thank you.
Lauren, what kind of corporations are going to, who's going to be involved in offering these jobs?
From my knowledge, companies such as Verizon Wireless.
Wow.
I've heard of other few big names, but I know there's quite a few companies being represented.
Did you know that, and I have to talk to Mr. Poinier about this again, that the McDonald's Corporation, somebody that owns a chain of McDonald's in Detroit, has offered to also participate.
That's correct.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Mr. Service, Aero Service is his name. So what's going to be going on? Young people are going to be speaking. They're going to be offering jobs. They're going to be talking, lecturing. What could people expect?
Okay, well, we're going to have a panel where our young people are going to be answering questions. As I said, it's more so about getting our young people off the streets and getting them jobs. That's the focus of it, but we're also focusing on different things our young people can do in communities. Like, we're going to talk about youth empowerment, like what our youth can do in communities, and that's what the main panel is going to be from the later part of the summit. Like, towards the end of it, we're going to be talking about community involvement, how our youth can be involved with community, and we're going to let the kids take over the show, so to say, the teens, so that they can talk about their safety, they can talk about their empowerment, they can talk about their community involvement. so that they can show that we want to show our kids that they have power as well in our government. They have power to control their environment, the space around them, so to say.
Mm-hmm. Now, are you going to have any at-risk youth that have, like been in trouble before and maybe turn their lives around to do any speaking or mentoring groups? I mean, I myself personally, I was on the streets. I turned my life around many years ago. So I know sometimes, and you might agree, why don't we give him the microphone for a minute, that sometimes that the youth can relate to the youth better than an adult. And sometimes if I talk to someone that was in trouble, that was on drugs and what have you, he might hear my voice better than some straight-laced psychologist.
Of course.
Okay, so are you going to have this kind of activity going on, where mentoring, whatever?
Of course, within the Better Detroit Youth Movement, we always encourage and do a lot of peer-to-peer mentoring. So it's always a lot of peer-to-peer mentoring going on. It also will be some implemented inside the Teen Summit, where we have other youth speaking and giving past experiences and giving mentor knowledge on things about safety and why you should land jobs and different things of that nature.
All right, outside of this show and Minister Shabazz's show, how else is this being promoted? And how does everybody find out about it if they want to come, other than here? How else are you guys getting the word out in general? You send out a lot of emails, phone calls?
Several ways, correct.
Schools.
Emails, phone calls,
social media,
schools.
such as Facebook, Twitter.
Which Facebook do you use, you're utilizing the most? Better Detroit Youth Movement doesn't really have a high volume, does it? So what do you use? Just your friends, contacts?
Our contacts, one I noticed the most for myself is from jaysface.com.
Jay's Face?
Jay's Face.
Oh, Jay's Face. Okay,
yeah.
Jay. Okay, from the shop.
Yeah.
Okay. And so again, this is at 12 o'clock till 4 o'clock. Next Friday, is there going to be food? They can buy food. Bert's has an open kitchen.
He does.
So they can buy pop and they could buy barbecue, what have you. And there's plenty of parking. You want to talk about the parking, or do you know?
Well, I'm unaware of the parking situation down there, but for the most part, if they're renting out half the building, I'm pretty sure Eastern Market has great parking accommodations from past experience. I'm pretty sure that the parking is going to be well available.
There is a ton of parking, and it's literally right across the street. And again, it's at 27, I'm just going to say this address, because it's at 2727 Russell. The Better Detroit Youth Movement, well, we call this a job fair? What would we call it?
The Teen Summit.
Teen Summit. So it's more than a job fair. I don't know where I got that impression, Mr. Pointer.
That's why we're covering several topics.
It's much more than this. It's much more than jobs.
Correct.
It's about youth, helping youth, supporting youth. Are we...
Brothers and sisters keepers.
Okay, and are we going to have brothers and sisters here? Are we going to have people from the government, city, police department? Have they been invited?
Oh, of course they have. For instance, we have fellow teachers here. We have some police officers from the Better Detroit Youth Movement coming along, to my knowledge, of course. That's about the extent of what I know, because I know that the co-director, Mr. Harlan Bivens, he has invited a few people out, and he has said that they will be showing up. I'm unaware of the police officer that's showing up, but I can tell you a fellow teacher, Mr. William Pointer over here. Is
he a teacher?
Yes, he is.
Okay, listen. I would bet and venture to say that there's going to be some judges there, and I would also bet that he invited people from the city council. Just my gut instinct. No, I can't back that up. So again, we want everyone to know the Better Detroit Youth Movement Summit, right? Any contact information you want to give real quick before we go, or where they can contact anybody, or if they have any questions going further? Website?
Okay. The Better Detroit Youth is, you can email them at info@betterdetroityouth.org, which that's all one word. You can also contact Mr. Harlan Bivens, the co-director, at 313-342-0697, and I'll say that again, 313-342-0697 is the co-director's business phone number. And you can also find him on his website at jaysface.com, or you can find him on Facebook at jaysface. At Jay's Fades on Facebook.
Jays Fades. And by the way, you can stop in his barbershop and get your hair done right at 6
Like
Mile
I did.
Livernois.
Mhm.
Jay is 2 blocks north of 6 Mile on Livernois. 17178 Livernois, Jay's Fades. And he will give you a haircut and he will talk to you like no barber's ever talked to you before. So we're going to see you down next week at the Summit at Burt's next Friday from 12 to 4. And thank you, everybody, for coming out. Nice to see you again. And we'll be right back. Sit tight, and we'll take a break. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
Hi, Mom. Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous come and talk to our class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit. We are the faces of Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest.
Not destroy.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
Did you know that there are over 100,000 abandoned homes within the city of Detroit? If you are tired of abandoned dangerous houses in your neighborhood, please support the Greater Detroit Restoration Project.
Please make all checks and money orders payable to the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. The mailing address, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221.
All donations will help fund the expense of boarding up abandoned homes within the city of Detroit and Highland Park. For more information, contact Barry Ross at 248-417-9696 or Minister Malik Shabazz at 313-646-3375.
Hey, come on. Man, what is taking so long? Let's play.
Just getting a number.
Whose number?
Narcotics Anonymous.
Hey, if you need to talk.
No way, it's not for me, it's for my brother. He's constantly... Come on, hoop time. Can you tell me about NA?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We're back live, TV 33, Comcast 20 in Detroit. Please call 313-868-0342, 0351-4336. We're running behind tonight, and I apologize. I've had, I went over on my first guest, so I apologize. Mr. Daniel Brookins, thank you very much. I need you to get a little closer.
Okay.
This is Mr. Daniel Brookins, Detroit, Highland Park, those that are watching around the world. Tell everybody the name of your business and the school and what's going on with you.
How everybody doing? My name is Daniel Brookins. I'm the Dean of Brookins Construction Trade School. And what we are trying to do for Detroit is to get you all to come down to 1930 Division Street, right down there by Eastern Market. What we're doing down there, we have a factory with a 3-bay factory, 40,000 square feet. We're teaching men and women in the factory how to build houses. I have a system to show you all how to frame a house up with the windows and the doors in there, and we're teaching you all how to build decks and stuff and floors for the houses. We're also teaching you all how to run electrical wires in the house. We also have licensed plumbers, licensed heating and cooling guys, and builders. And what we want to do to the city of Detroit is to fix the houses up, to maybe bring the crime down. We want to bring revenue to the city. We want to bring employment to the city. We want to teach the citizens of Detroit how to get a skill and to get a job. What we also have down there is a building that we want to build across the street from the school, which is an annex where we want to build prefab houses. Instead of tearing the houses down, we want to just take the top off the houses. I'm training the men and the women how to build the houses. They can frame it back up in 8 days. Maybe crime will go down if we can bring employment up and start making our city safe by putting some of the people that's in the streets and on the corners back into the houses. I got a number that I'd like to give you all so you all can give me a call. And that number is 313-220-2290. Also, what we offer in Detroit is at the factory down there, we're trying to raise funds to build to build a factory across the street from the school, y'all. And this factory right here is going to teach men and women how to frame houses up, which what we don't know how to do. There's a system. We can fix Detroit up by ourselves. We are the ones that have to be independent. We don't need anyone to come down here. It has to be done from inside. We need the city council and agencies to help us raise money to teach the people in Detroit to bring the crime down, because the people in Detroit are starving. That's one of the reasons why we're doing, and they're doing all the things that we are doing. So if we can come in and teach you all how to be productive members of society and have a good trade and a skill, the crime may go down. And what I have to offer is a new way of life. We don't have to be in the streets. We don't have to steal. We don't have to rob. You'll make enough money. I'm also a union contractor, to whereas those that come to the school
Licensed.
and licensed, and those that come to the school and learn the trade, I'm getting you jobs with the school in the city of Detroit. The money that we make here, we will spend here, so we don't have to worry about the money that's being made, always being taken out of the city, and then we're sitting up here with nothing. So what we need to do now, y'all, is get together, support Brookings Construction Trade School. Come on down. I'll give you the number. We have another number to my telemarketer. Her name is Sharon William Dean. You can give me a call at 313-220-2290. And you can also call Sharon William Dean at 313-740-4904. Also, we have a website, brookingstrade.org. And you can pull it up. It's got a YouTube on there, and it'll give you everything you need to know about the school, how it's operating. We also have a email where you can call me or email me at bcts2012@yahoo.com. Looking forward to seeing you all.
May I speak?
Sure.
Welcome to the Daniel Brookins Show. I would feel remiss if I just had a guest and we didn't convey to you the value of this. Now, he just told you what he's trying to do, but we want people to understand you're actually holding classes. They can enroll in your school. And when is the school starting up?
The next classes will be in September.
In September, and they can learn this trade. And what kind of fees might they encounter? And what can they do to get backing on the fees? And what have you? We want to give them this kind of information.
Well, what we have been doing is applying for grants. The classes cost $6,000, but the grants pay for your class, and where it costs you all nothing is free.
Where do they apply for the grants?
Well, once I achieve the grant or get the grant, you come to the school and apply. And if you approve, then you come into the school.
So if classes are starting in the fall, and you've applied for this grant now, like the blanket grant, the
Yes.
overall grant?
We'll apply for several grants.
Okay, and when's the likelihood that these grants could get answered or replied upon?
Well, school gonna start in September.
No matter what?
No matter what. We're going forward. We're here to help Detroit. We're not gonna sit back and wait on y'all to sit around and fiddle your thumbs around and talk about doing something. Somebody got to get up and
But
just go ahead and start doing something.
if the people don't get backed by a grant and they can't afford it, can they come and get a free class?
Well, yeah, we are giving out some scholarships, and we also offering payment plans. We also have a bank, Shark Bank, from out of town, which is backing some of the students that want to do a payment plan, and we will give you that number when you try to go. You don't have to take the whole 13 weeks. You can break the course up and take the class that you feel is most important to you.
How many hours a day is this class?
It's 8 hours a day.
And
you come in.
and you have what? Electricians, plumbers.
We have electrician, we have plumbers, we have builders. We also teach a lot of other things that's not on the curriculum. You know, sometimes we drive heavy equipment, sometimes we do vinyl siding on our side, and we do welding. All depends on how fast the students are advancing. If they're advancing, we also have 5 other licensed contractors in there that has their own business, and they will take you out on jobs where you can make money while you train at the same time.
Now, if people want to support financially your school, they can donate.
Right.
And they could send this into these numbers. We're going to have you give them out again.
Right.
And are you 501c3?
We're pending 501c3, but
you're
we are
nonprofit.
nonprofit
You're
for the state of Michigan.
Okay. So once you get your 501c3, you can get a full tax deduction.
Exactly.
But we need jobs are at a premium in the city, to say the least. I mean, here's an opportunity. Now, they take the course. All that happens. What about a job? What's going to happen with the job?
Well, right now we have 60 houses in place for the graduating students to work on. I have a member of my staff sitting in the audience that's waiting for us to get started. All we have to do is say go.
These 60 houses, who's paying for them? These are going to get rehabbed?
Yeah, these houses are owned from a private organization where he's putting them up for the houses for us to give to the students, so when they graduate, they'll have some employment, and they'll also have a house to purchase.
How does that work? How does that work? They'll fix the house up, and then what? They provide financing?
Well, the people that's giving us the houses providing finances for us to fix the house up. The student will be getting jobs. The employer will be paying the student, and we will delegate certain houses to certain graduating students. And we'll work the particulars out after they graduate,
All
and we start doing the houses.
Why don't we give them your contact information and where they can apply, and if they want to apply to this bank, they can call you and you'll have that information for them. What is it,
Yes,
Sharp?
I will. Shark Bank.
Okay, just run these 2 phone numbers on them again.
Well, Sharon William Dean number is 313-740-4900.
Let's say that one more time slowly.
313-740-4903.
04. Dean, and she's about the busiest woman you've ever seen or talked to.
And my number is 313-220-2290. But if you get on the web, it has information on there that you can sign and contact us, and we can email the information right back to you.
Okay, I appreciate you coming out. Sit tight for a minute. We're going to take a break, and we're going to be back with T. Styles in about 2 minutes. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.
Hi, Mom. Where'd you get all this Narcotics Anonymous stuff from?
Mrs. Owens had Narcotics Anonymous for class about meetings that can help people stop using drugs.
Narcotics Anonymous.
Yes, please. Can you help me?
Call Narcotics Anonymous. We can help you.
We are the faces of Detroit. We are the faces
of Delray.
We are the faces of Delray. Governor Snyder wants to put us out of our homes by building a bridge in our front yard.
Homes where we raised our families.
A community where we buried our loved one.
Delray is struggling, but it's not lifeless. It's a community of hopes and dreams.
Governor Snyder.
Invest,
not destroy.
We interrupt this program to bring you a special bulletin.
Did you know that there are over 100,000 abandoned homes within the city of Detroit? If you are tired of abandoned dangerous houses in your neighborhood, please support the Greater Detroit Restoration Project.
Please make all checks and money orders payable to the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. The mailing address, 17301 Livernois, Suite 405, Detroit, Michigan, 48221.
We're back live on TV 33. I just had, this is Mr. Brookins, my prior interview's daughter, And say hello to everybody. Say
Hello.
Hello. What's the name of your dad's company?
Brookins Constructions Trade School.
Very good. Now, I just wanted you to see that this child is so pretty. I can't stand it. We just had to have you see her, say hello to everybody, and tell everybody to stay peaceful and safe.
Stay peaceful and safe.
Okay, this is going to be my next interviewer on this show. When she gets big, hopefully I'm still here. You can just stay there and look pretty. How's that for a minute? Okay. All right, that's fine. Okay, and right now we have Miss T. Styles.
Hi.
And I just want to spell her name. It's T-I-Y-E?
Yes.
T-I-Y-E, and I called her Ty, but she had to correct me. And Styles is S-T-Y-L-Z.
Yes.
And this lady is quite the entertainer.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming.
Yeah, thank you for having me.
And you are a recording artist?
Yes, I am. Mm-hmm.
And I heard some of your cuts, and I was blown away. I'm so glad you're here tonight.
Thank you.
You perform around town?
Yes, I perform around the city. I've done like a few of the casinos, the MGM Grand, Detroit. I've done Greektown Casino, a few restaurants, Beans and Cornbread. I've also done the tribute to Mary Wells with Misty Love, and a lot of other things, gospel plays, the Harlem Nutcracker at the Detroit Opera House. I'm into a lot. The Funk Loft.
You made me cry. I'm 60 and I grew up on R&B and jazz, but I go way back, pop, rock, everything. But when I heard you do Summertime, my God, I can only cry out of one eye. This side doesn't tear, but I was soaking wet in my eye from Summertime. And I know you didn't bring that, but can we just hear a little a cappella? You could do it, right? Just a little. Could you do a couple verses? What are you looking over there?
Oh,
am I putting you on the spot?
Yeah, you put me on the spot.
All right,
it's all good.
Could we just hear a little bit of Summertime? I think you can carry it.
Okay.
Let's hear
it. All right. Y'all ready?
If you don't mind.
Summertime, and the living is easy. The fish are jumping, and the cotton is high.
I told you.
Your daddy's rich, and your mama's good looking. So hush, little baby, don't you cry.
Oh my God. Let's give her a round of applause.
I thought you wanted me to keep going. Thank you.
Now,
Thank
you know most artists need back. That's why I wanted you to hear her. That's raw talent.
Right. I didn't get to the high part yet,
But-
but it's all good.
Huh?
I said I didn't get to the
Do you
juicy
want
part.
Do you want to hit it?
No. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Then you spread your wings and fly to the sky. But till that morning, there's nothing that can harm you. With mama and daddy standing by.
My God.
So that was a little bit something. Thank y'all. This audience over there watching.
I don't know
thanks.
if you saw this, but I texted you to ask if you had a manager or producer. Honest to God, when I heard that, I said, "Who's backing this lady?" Now we'll hear some more in a couple minutes. But
Okay.
where are you around town right now? Are you performing anywhere?
Yes, I'll be performing. You can catch me at Bert's on Sundays.
Every Sunday?
Pretty much. pretty much every Sunday at Burt Celebrity Sundays. You can catch me at the Funk Loft, not every Tuesday, but sometimes on Tuesdays.
Where's the Funk Loft at?
It's above the Golden Fleece on Monroe Street. It's a restaurant, but it's right above the Golden Fleece, and that's on Tuesdays.
Right near Bobby and her Brush, I would presume.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's my.
I'm going to be performing at the Detroit Black Music Awards this August, so I'm excited about that.
I had the winner on my show from last year.
Okay.
What's his name?
I heard I was a winner, but I'm not sure. I don't know.
Okay.
That's what someone Facebooked me.
Uh-huh.
I don't know.
Okay, so now you're at the Golden Fleece, above the Golden Fleece.
Yes, on Tuesdays at the Funk Loft. Sometimes on Tuesdays. I don't go every Tuesday, but it's like a jam session. You can catch me jamming.
All right, now you got
jam on it.
Jam on it.
Yeah.
You have a current release.
Yes.
And where is it available? And what's the name of it?
Actually, it's getting ready to drop the 4th of July weekend, and it's called Jedi Princess. It's a mixtape CD. Featuring me, T Styles, Jedi Princess. So y'all make sure y'all, keep your eyes open for that. Where you're gonna be, you probably can get it. You'll probably be able to get it at a few stores. I'm gonna be having the singles you can purchase online through iTunes. You can check me out on SoundCloud, YouTube at T Styles Nation. And
So
I'm
you've been
around.
recording for how long?
I've been recording since I moved to Los Angeles. I was actually flown out there by a producer to sing with a 5-girl group, and that was in 2000. So I've been professionally recording since then.
Okay.
Or before, yeah.
And how are your sales? How they go?
They're great so
Any
far.
videos
Yeah,
out
every
yet?
time I'm performing, I make a lot of, I sell a lot of CDs, so
very
things
good.
are going good. They're not in stores yet. The CD isn't in stores yet, but I will let you know if you look me up on Facebook or follow me on Twitter at TIYE Styles, STYLZ. That's me.
She has a question.
Yes, ask me. Anything.
You should sing one of the songs that you're gonna
Perform one of my original songs.
She's got some songs.
Yes, I do.
Should we? Is that your phone, or is that the music?
That's the music. They're playing the music from the back.
All right. So
This
are
is
we
called,
ready for this?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is called Love App.
Okay.
It's by me. By T Styles. I thought leaving you would be simple, but it's not. I mean, I've been with other guys, but they don't touch me the way that you do. They don't hold me the way that you used to hold me. And when I say that I'm over you, I'm only lying. Baby, hold on, let me explain some of the reason for the messed up things that I said. It stems from the pain that I felt ever since the day you walked out my life. For 2 months I cried, wondering what I could have done to keep you. Could have at least had the courtesy to let me know why you were leaving me.
live. You've been listening to T Styles.
Hi.
And the name of these cuts in that order was
Love App was the first cut that they played. The second one was called I'm Lying, and which was recorded out of LA, and the last one is entitled Far Away, and that was recorded here in Detroit with Russ Movado.
Now, are you going to have
Blessed too. Bless Thomas. He's another producer I work
Are
with.
you going to have a release party for these? These are
Yes.
just
The first track was a hell of a track too, in case you know Helluva. Big shouts out to Helluva.
okay. So this is all on an album.
Yes.
This is one CD.
Jedi Princess.
Jedi Princess, and this
Yes.
is coming out when?
The 4th of July weekend.
Wow.
Getting them pressed up, and I'm going to have a record release party, so you
Where?
guys. I'm not sure. I was thinking about Blondies, but I'm not sure. We'll see.
Okay, you
But I'll
gotta
keep
let-
you
gotta
posted,
let us know.
definitely. I'll definitely keep you posted. I'm going to be shooting a video, too. You know, so all y'all cute girls and sexy guys, I want y'all to come out. I'll let you know, keep you posted. If you find me on Facebook, I can let you know what's up.
Tell them how to find you again.
You can find me at T Styles. It's TIYESTYLZ.
You have
That's
a-
me, baby.
Do you have a website or a phone number? Or?
I have a phone number. You can reach me at 313-629-7142 for bookings. I do weddings, funerals, divorces,
Funerals.
birthday
Okay.
parties.
All right.
Whatever you having.
We appreciate you coming, even though it was short-lived.
I'm glad to
We
be
want
here.
everybody to know that we're, if you sit tight for a minute, that we're boarding up this house again, 2226 Fairview on the east side of Detroit, right off Kercheval. A young man was murdered there within the last 30 days. The neighbors are coming out to help us. This Friday, everybody wants to see this house boarded up. We're boarding up houses all over town, wherever we can. We need funding. We need help. We need your labor support. You can contact me, 417-9696. Minister Shabazz, 313-646-3375. We are the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. We're a consortium of community groups that care because we got people in our city, in our government, that don't have the ability to come out and provide the services we and you need. We're asking for your help. We're asking for your support. It's our city. We can't let anybody take it away. You're going to see more of us. You're going to see us on the streets. You're going to see our logos on the boards. You're going to see a phone number, the Greater Detroit Restoration Project. We're coming out. We're going out to 6 Mile, Wyoming area over the weekend as well and do a couple houses. So I appreciate you coming out. While you're much more beautiful even without your glasses on. I wear dark glasses all the time.
Let me
because
let them see me.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Hey, everyone. You are looking to the
She's
camera.
gorgeous. Okay. That's it till next week. Everybody stay safe. Get involved in your community. You see anything happening on your street, do something about it. Help somebody. Give something back. Be a part of the city. Don't complain about it. Be about it. We'll see you all next week. Thank you very much for tuning in. Thank you, everybody. Thank you, Hodo. Thank you, R.J. Watkins. Thank you, God, for giving me this life, because it's your life, not mine. See you next week, everybody. Tuesdays, 9 p.m. on TV 33. Join me, Barry Ross, on Mixing It Up. We'll feature informative community organizations that will offer solutions to Wayne County residents in reference to employment, safety, and security within neighborhoods, job training, education, and mentoring programs. Remember, Tuesdays, 9 p.m. Join me, Barry Ross, Mixing It Up on TV 33.